there, Diana from Adirondack Girl at Heart. I teach vintage and antique lovers how to create successful antique businesses. And one of the ways I do that is through these videos. Today, I like to focus on books, cookbooks, children's books, and some other books, and a few pieces of ephemera. Why don't we jump into the cookbooks, one of my favorite collectibles that I sell over and over again. I do have a price guide and a collecting guide and a book cleaning guide on my website, and I'll link to those below. Here's a really interesting one from 1941. Yes, it's missing its cover. It's ring bound. It was produced by the Ridgeway Kitchens of the Women's Guild of West Side Presbyterian Church, 1941. So I bought it not because of its great condition or because I think in and of itself it's so valuable, but it is filled with clippings. Clippings and recipe cards, which people really, really enjoy. Here's a handwritten recipe, for example, and then a clipping from, looks like some magazines. Oops, things are falling. So I have a blog post about handwritten recipe books, recipe journals, that sort of thing, and they have sold really well for me on Etsy in the $35 to $45 range. And I'm gonna try this one on Etsy because not only does it have all these clippings, but the recipes inside appear to be in the original handwriting of the contributor. And there are charming little pictures, hand-drawn pictures all the way through. Here's one, here's some train and horse. So I'm hoping that on Etsy this would sell in the $30 to $35 range. I'll let you know how that goes. Here's another local cookbook. This is the Applehood and Mother Pie. I do love that title, from upstate New York. It's from Rochester, 1981. They were produced in a huge number. So on eBay, they are not selling for a lot of money, about $5 to $7. But I think from my antique booth that it will sell for something like $12 to $15. I paid $1 for it. I also paid $1 for the Ridgeway Kitchens cookbook, as well as this cookbook titled From Julia Child's Kitchen. It's from 1975. It does say inside that it's a first edition. It's missing its cover. On eBay, it's selling for about $15 to $20 without the cover and the dust jacket, I mean. And so I will probably try to sell it there, which is where I tend to sell my higher value cookbooks. Lower value, I sell from my antique booth really regularly, really well. Here's a little cookbook called Festive Breads of Easter, and I paid 50 cents for it. It's got an original price tag on the back of $3.25, and people do like to pick up these cute little cooking booklets. It's got sweet pictures in it, and I will price it at $5 to $6. While we're looking at pamphlet-y sort of things, this one is so interesting to me. It's a handmade church cookbook. So a church, it's the Lutheran church, I think, put this together in 1959, Youngstown, Ohio, and would have sold it to raise money for the church. And I think this would be very collectible. I think I'm going to try it on Etsy for about $15. And then here's Seafoods and Seaports. I buy all kinds of cookbooks and pamphlets from my area, from the northeastern New York, or northeastern United States, and they tend to sell well. And then here are a couple more church cookbooks. This one was free in a free box, and I will probably list it for $3 or $4. If it was a local, like a regional cookbook, like an Adirondack cookbook, which there are a few varieties of those out there. They sell more in the $10 range. Here's another one, a church one. This is from Texas. It's got like a plastic cover on it, so $4 to $5 probably for that one. So that's it for the cookbooks. Let's take a look at the children's books that I found. I pick up any nice quality Winnie the Pooh book that I come across. This is quite new, and I paid 50 cents for it, and it should sell for about $8 or $9. This was probably I'm guessing it was used in a school for science. Yes, it's got all kinds of like university markings inside there, but I thought that I loved the illustrations. I thought that they were really, really nice, and some science teacher or sciencey person or tree lover is going to enjoy this book, which was produced in, I think it was 1956. So 50 cents, and should sell for about $4 or $5. Next, I have a bunch of little golden books. I have an article on my website about little golden books, and I have a price guide for anybody who signs up to get my weekly newsletter, and I have a whole course about little golden books. So I pick them up when I find them for, I like a quarter, 25 cents. That's my favorite price. These were 50 cents each. And these first two here are newer examples that should sell for about $2 or $3. They're in like perfect condition, and they originally cost $5, so you're getting a great deal when you pick those up. And then here is Sleeping Beauty. 25 cents was the original price for Little Golden Books when they first came out in 1942. And so typically any book that is priced 25 cents is going to be a first edition. This was copyrighted in 1957. The price did not go up to 29 cents until 1962. Now, one of the ways you can tell, so it looks like a first edition, right? It's got the 25 cents. It has the date, 1957. But if you look on the back, in the very back, and you pull apart the binding down there, you will see the letter, I think it's C. Let me just check. The letter C. Right here. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see that, but you pull the binding apart, and if it was an A, that would indicate that it's a first edition, but it's a C, so it's a third edition. So still nice old copy. This is what the back of a new Little Golden Book looks like, and this is advertising a certain type of Little Golden Book. So this should sell for about $5 to $6 is my guess, without doing any more research. Now here are two first editions. This is Goofy Movie Star. Now the Mickey Mouse Club books, the binding is red with Mickey Mouse's head on it. That's one of the ways you know if you don't know who Goofy is. 25 cents, remember, is giving us the impression that it's a first edition. And this one was published in 1956, but I look in the back and there's the letter A. I hope you can see that. And so this is a bona fide first edition in really good condition, a little shelf worn on the binding, and that's about it. It should sell for about $10 to $15. I'm saying that without doing any research at all, but that's my guess. And then here's the Chipmunk Merry Christmas. Also a 25-cent edition, and it dates to, this is, the illustrations were done by Richard Scarry, 1959. And then we look in the back, and there's a letter A, and the binding is super tight on this one, so I'm not going to show that to you, but first edition. So first editions are more valuable, obviously, than other editions. Now here is a really popular little golden book, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. I think the illustrations are also by, yeah, Richard Scarry. And it's in not good shape. It's a newer edition, 69 cents. And there's writing on the cover, and there's writing here on the front page. So if it were in better shape, it would sell for about $10, $5 to $10 on eBay. I have sold a lot of these on eBay. I'm gonna use this one for crafting because it's not in good shape, and I make bookmarks using illustrations from the book, and I sell them at the annual craft show that I do every year. And I have a blog post about how to make vintagey looking bookmarks, and I will link to that below. Okay, on the topic of kids, I picked up a pack of cards, and these don't really sell great for me. I would date these to about the 1950s, but they are numerical, sorry, but they are so cute. Little beaver and a raccoon, and oh my gosh, look at that bunny. So I'm thinking I'm going to use them for some kind of project, some sort of vintagey project. You could just clip them onto a piece of string and hang them like a bunting, right? Lots of things that you could do with that. Okay, let's move on to some other books that I have here. First, here's the Golden Book of Colonial Crafts. Things that relate to farmhouse style, country living, that sort of thing. I will pick up. This dates to the 1970s, and I paid 50 cents for it, and I will sell it for $8 to $10. Here's a bonded leather New Testament. It dates to the 1900 exactly, and it's got nice gold here on the edges, and the red letters refer to the words of Jesus. Oh, it's got a little card in here, a little poem about comfort, and it was $1, and it should sell for about 10 to 12. Now, any little book that's red, if it's 50 cents or less, I will pick it up because they make great book stacks. I think people enjoy having a little, bright red pop of color in their decorating. But these are also classics. This is Play-Doh Selections, dates to 1927. I did pay 50 cents for these, and I will price this at $8 to $10. And then this is a book by Rudyard Kipling, not a famous one or one that I'm aware of, in black and white, The Story of the Gadsbys, which is different than The Great Gatsbys. No date on this, but this impressed design is very Art Nouveau, so I would date it to the late 1890s, up to 1910 probably, and we'll price that at $8 to $10. And so the last two items, here we go. This is a new, they're prints that can be used for marriage, and then here is a birth. This is an art style called Fractor that developed in the Pennsylvania Dutch area of Pennsylvania, and so this is a kind of a takeoff on that, and I just thought that they were really sweet, and I think that there are going to be people who want that. It was $1 for the both of them, and I will sell them separately for $8 to $10 each. Final find are some Victorian calling cards. There's an interesting one. I don't know if, yes, it came off of a backing that would have had, I think it did. It looks like it has a little glue on the back, but I bought them to use in projects. Some of them I may sell for $2 to $3 or $4. This one says, Sweet Remembrance. And here's one that says, With kind regards. And Remember Me, cute little nice scalloping on that one. A Token of Affection, just so sweet and so pretty. And here's one that says Love Sincere, with 2 hands and roses. And then this one says Life bear for you its sweetest flowers. Really, really beautiful. I paid 50 cents for each one of those, and like I said, they're worth about $2 to $3 or $4 each. Great to use in vintage DIY projects. I hope you enjoyed seeing my vintage finds. I'd love it if you give me a thumbs up or leave a comment or subscribe. And as always, happy hunting.